Good morning. There are a number of questions that I'll get to this afternoon, but the one we just picked up from the basket is pertinent right now. How do you know when you're in the state of samadhi? Well, first of all, when we're meditating, we don't want to be thinking about what state we're in, because then we're not in meditation, really. That's one of the pitfalls of thinking in terms of jhanas. A lot of times there's this wondering, is this the first jhana? Is this the second jhana? But of course that just takes you out of the state. So, but samadhi, one thing you can notice is that the hindrances are gone. So, desire, aversion, dullness, restlessness, doubt. And what I find is most of the time, if those are present as we settle down and start to go into meditation, it's light enough that you really don't have to address them. Turning to your meditation object and putting your attention there and beginning to feel those pleasant feelings that come with turning inwards, the seclusion, and becoming more settled in the mind is enough for those kind of minor versions of hindrances to just disappear. But of course, that's not the case all the time with our mind. Sometimes we have very strong desires, or very strong aversion or ill will. I don't know, ill will, it's a hard one because I think a lot of times we have aversion, we want to get rid of something, we want to push something away, there's something we don't like, but we don't really want to wish ill will on anyone, so it's really all that whole category of wanting to push something away, something we don't like. So something we want or something we want to get rid of, both those energies pulling towards ourselves or pushing away, either of them, when they're really strong, we have to deal with them. And when I was reading that from that sutta where the Buddha was teaching his son Rahula, and these different methods can be used to work with those stronger versions of the hindrances. Drowsiness or dullness. Of course, we have to discern whether we're just actually very tired. When I have all the freedom I need, like I'm on retreat, it's completely supported by other people, and then I can meditate as much as I want to, whenever I want to. There are times I can sit down to meditate and my mind and my body are just not ready. Either there's restlessness or there's drowsiness, sleepiness. And then it's good, what I find is it's good to just take care of that. Restlessness, sometimes it's helpful to walk. A lot of the time, though, it's helpful to just settle as much as possible and not give in to the restlessness. Sometimes restlessness arrives or springs up later, like you've been sitting a while and then you start to get antsy and you want to move. And you never really overcome restlessness by giving into it. So I think it takes some practice of awareness with ourselves to know what is the right approach with the mental state that I have. So sometimes it's good to just do some walking meditation first, especially as you get practiced with that, and you can really, use that to calm the mind and to calm the body, or some stretching, or maybe other things. One of the things to pay attention to is what activities we're doing leading up to meditation, because sometimes there's a lot of sensory input, and then there's going to be a restless mind as a result. So we kind of prepare for meditation. I think of it like preparing the kids to go to sleep at night. You have a routine. You get your jammies on, you brush your teeth, you read the story. Whatever that is for your mind to prepare for meditation. Light the candles, light the incense, do some chanting. Whatever you can train your mind to, like, okay, now I know it's time to settle, to meditate. And the best way to deal with doubt is to investigate. Sometimes we need the feedback from a teacher or someone who, whatever we're doubting about, someone who can bring some clarity to whatever your questions are. But when the mind has a habit of wanting to, I don't know, am I doing this right? Kind of just recognizing that sitting quietly is going to be okay, regardless. Kind of calm that voice. And then, investigate, learning, helps. Developing wisdom helps to quiet the doubting mind. So samadhi there are various ways you might experience it. Sometimes it can feel like a flow. I think that's the idea behind stillness flowing. The mind goes into an altered state. It's not normal consciousness. It's bright, clear. Mindfulness is sharp. Hindrances are gone. The mind is settled. There can still be some thoughts arising, but they don't disturb the calm. Ajahn Chah also encouraged a kind of way of using thought in a way to investigate. And when that happens, it happens within the samadhi. And the thinking doesn't disturb the calm. It's a reflection on reality. So as you practice, and many of you have practiced for many years, you've probably experienced these things, and there can be all kinds of things that happen during meditation. And it teaches us. But we want to continue to have the mindfulness sharp and engaged. And so being present with experience, observing it with clarity. Every meditative state that is truly on the right track is going to have mindfulness. If you you're meditating, but the mind is like foggy and fuzzy, and you kind of go into some state where you come back and you don't know if you actually fell asleep or not, or the mind is kind of floaty with a bunch of like dreamy like thoughts. That's not meditation. That's not samadhi. No, you gotta like bring ourselves up out of that. Okay. So there was a note we got. At the top it says, big ask. This one's for you. We're gonna go through the mindfulness of breathing again, 16 steps. And I want you to enjoy it if you can. Just really relax into it. It's not like you have to learn it by doing this, but feel it. And if you have a practice where you can easily go into samadhi some other way, go for it. You don't have to listen to anything I say. Just go into samadhi. Okay. Comfortable position with our body erect. You can start with a few deeper breaths if you like. Just to kind of relax the body. Focus the mind. In a gentle way, in a kind way, bringing your attention to your breathing. And letting go of all longing, setting it aside. And letting go of all aversion. And just being here now in this present moment, where there's nothing to do and nothing to be. And just breathing in and breathing out. And noticing whether that in-breath is deep or shallow. And whether that out-breath is deep or shallow. Without judgment, just observing its quality, those simple qualities to establish mindfulness. So witness consciousness. And while you're still aware of your in-breath and your out-breath, become sensitive to your whole body. Training yourself as you breathe in and breathe out to be sensitive to the whole body. Breathe in, calming the body, the bodily activities. Just inviting the body to become calm as you breathe in. And calming the body as you breathe out. And you're aware, you're watching, you're observing, or listening to the body, to the breath. And you can feel it calm down. The heart, the circulation, whatever. You don't have to think about parts, but just invite that calming of the processes of the body, the feeling of the body. And then as you breathe in, being sensitive to the pleasant feelings that might be arising from this calming, from this alertness. Breathing in, sensitive to piti, rapture, joy, pleasant feeling. Noticing if there's any warmth or tingling or feelings of softening. Once I told Ajahn Panyawado that when I would chant, there would be a softness around my mouth. And he said, that's samadhi. So the samadhi is very much related to energy, related to sensation, or at least the sensation's an indicator. The mind is becoming more still, more steady, leaving its ordinary state. So we're aware of breathing in, but we're also aware of any pleasant feeling, piti, and then also sukha. And when you start to be aware of sukha, it's not like the piti goes away. You don't even really have to distinguish between them, just this pleasant kind of spiritual feeling, uplift. We can even just feel pleasant feeling just from being mindful. So it could be subtle, or it could be quite strong, especially if we continue to attend to it as we're breathing in and as we're breathing out. So when I say being sensitive to it, this is not like a frantic search or a wish to create feeling, but just awareness, noticing it as it arises. And what if it doesn't arise? What if there isn't any such pleasant feeling there? And just continue to be aware of your breathing. And let yourself relax. Enjoy this meditation. Being able to sit quietly. And then bringing attention to any activity in the mind, thoughts, as you breathe in, as you breathe out, just noticing what's there with our mindfulness, with awareness. And then inviting that activity to become calmed, to become stilled. And it really is an action of relief and release. Letting go of thinking, letting go of trying to be anything or do anything. Just maintaining the mindfulness and the awareness of the in-breath and the out-breath. And the calming of the mind. And with this awareness, observing the state of the mind. Is the mind still troubled by a desire? Or is it free of desire? Is there any aversion or ill will in the mind? Or is it free of aversion? You still know you're breathing in. You know when you're breathing out. But you see the mind, you know the state of your mind. Is there delusion present? Or confusion? Or does it feel clear and open? Does the mind feel scattered? Does it feel tight? Or is it spacious and clear? We can notice what these words, what impact they have on the mind. It's that observer, the witness, observing the state of the mind. And we can see how it changes. And the Buddha said then we can gladden the mind or satisfy it. Bring in a thought or an image of something that inspires or uplifts the mind. Even though it's peaceful, even the image of looking out over the water, the hills, the sky, spacious. The spaciousness of the concentrated mind is even more glorious than that. Just opening to it and allowing it and lifting up the mind. And when the mind is happy, much more easily goes into samadhi. And no words can really guide us. So just being present, aware, bright, allowing meditation to unfold. Letting go. fourth instruction in this grouping is to release the mind, or free it. And we free it into investigation. So breathing in, knowing that you're breathing in, breathing out, aware that you're breathing out, and reflecting on impermanence, the impermanent nature of everything in this world. Can choose any object at all. The body, a relationship, something you feel you own, anything that we want, anything that we want to get rid of. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing. Observing with mindfulness the truth of its impermanence and its instability, its changefulness. How it can't possibly belong to us or be a self or to be a part of ourself. Just seeing that truth helps us to shift away from the clinging and the craving. Just accepting this quality, this characteristic of all things. And feeling relief. And maybe that's not the feeling that arises, but whatever is there in this moment, just being present and aware of it, observing it from the solid ground of awareness, of mindfulness, of knowing the truth. If there is suffering, there is some kind of clinging, there's some kind of attachment or identification with something that isn't actually ours. Because it has its own nature, its own coming together to be what it is at the moment, and it's falling apart. As soon as the conditions cause something to form, it's already starting to deteriorate. And when we're attached, then we become sad or angry or afraid. And it's not like once we see reality for what it is that we'll never have those feelings again. They're natural. they also come and go. They are also passing phenomena. But being rooted in the Dhamma, we no longer cling to those either. We just see that these feelings come and go, thoughts come and go. They are also conditioned. And we don't have to be sad, regretful, fearful, or anything else regarding those feelings or thoughts. Or whatever has triggered them. We're stepping into a different reality, a different way of seeing that is actually the truth. But we have to know that for ourselves directly. So we observe the nature of these things and ask, are they permanent or not? Are they subject to change or not? Maybe there is something that's permanent. We can look for it. See what you can find. Don't take anyone else's word for any of it. We have to know for ourselves. But if you notice that something's impermanent and changing, or will change, and you're attached to it, take that reality in and see if there's a fading away of that attachment. Observing the fading away. The dispassion, the fading away of the passion, of the wanting, of the clinging, of the holding. Noticing that arising of dispassion. Still breathing in and breathing out. And what comes after dispassion? It's cessation, Nibbāna. The suffering ends. And breathing in, we put our attention on cessation, and breathing out, put our attention on cessation. And finally, the 16th instruction is to put our attention on relinquishment, giving up. Breathing in, attending to or focusing on relinquishment. Giving up, giving it away, letting go. We practice for this patinisago by developing generosity, learning how to give it up, let it go, open-handed, loving to be generous, loving to be giving, just for the sake of giving, making all of our actions a gift. And when we see the suffering that comes with craving and clinging, and we let go, we feel the relief. Peace and joy. And the end of suffering. Whenever in the suttas the truth is realized or defilements have been abandoned, then there's that step of knowing that the defilements have been abandoned, that the truth has been realized. But it's not the 17th instruction. We don't have it here. We're practicing. But when it happens, it's good to look back and reflect. This is what happened. So when you finish meditation, it's also good to reflect on how it went. The causes and conditions for being. However it has been. In a way that's supportive, that helps to inform the practice as it goes further. So as you know, there will be practice discussion groups now and meetings with Aya Chitananka, and everyone else, please continue to practice. Until we have to eat again. How do you feel about that? Just another thing to be mindful of.